What's up, guys? Back with another video, and today I got a couple things done. I'm going to show you around a little bit. Trying to knock out some stuff in the rear end and the whole drivetrain in general, but got a couple other things done, just more or less for a couple reasons that I'll explain later. So first off, the interior. Kind of got the dash in. It is by no means in perfectly, and I struggled with this like you would not believe. But it went in pretty smoothly, though I found something that I do not like, which I'll show you real quick. So right over here on the driver's side, it's not all the way in. That's just because I also haven't put any hardware in to hold it in. It's just kind of sitting there. This broke. I don't know when it broke. I don't know how it broke. I have a couple guesses. I think the first is either it was kind of binding up on this right here and it just broke like that, or maybe the turn signal. I doubt it. The other possibility is it was broken already and I just didn't notice it. I know since this dash has been sitting here, I know at least when I first pulled it out of the car almost 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, all of this was not broken. So really all it is right here down to here. So I'm gonna look around and see if I can find it if it is broken. I've looked around a little bit, I couldn't find it. So if it broke at some other period of time when maybe people were moving stuff around and maybe accidentally got broken, no one told me, or who knows what happened. I'm sure I'm the one that broke it, but it could be a million other things. It's really no big deal. Part of the dash looks like, but honestly what I could probably do with the Dremel is cut some stuff smoother, and with 3D print technology I could print a piece and glue it in, or I could, you know, find a dash from a broken 240 and replace it, or, you know, there's a lot of things I can do. But yeah, it's in and it looks good, and honestly I'm not really tripping about all that right now. A lot of this stuff, a lot of the original gauges and stuff aren't even gonna work. As long as my turn signal works, my windshield wipers, stuff like that, I can always get aluminum and make like a custom little thing right there. And yeah, I'm honestly trying to just make this look done. I know this is not in correctly because the door doesn't want to shut, but that's just because it's not pressed in all the way. But wow, really? It's because it has to go forward. Maybe it'll shut now. Once I get it bolted in, it should be fine. Okay, well, I'm not gonna press on it as to not break anything else, but yeah. So going into why I'm trying to make this car look kind of complete, trying my best, you know. I want to get the interior in. I can still work behind the dash even if it's in. I more or less put it in just because I wanted to see what it looked like, and now I'm kind of like, that was a pain in the ass to put in. I really don't want to have to pull it back out. So yeah, I'm gonna just leave it, and I can work behind it. It's very open back there. I don't got a radio, I don't got a lot of things back there. It's just a wiring. I should be able to just get all my stuff done with that in. All the wires I'm extending, they're gonna go through the passenger side, because they're closer to the holes over there, and I can just cut another hole into the firewall if I need to. Don't know if I'm gonna do that. That's way into the future. We're not even worrying about the headlights right now, because that's the only thing. If I got this harness completely plugged in and ready, the headlights would be the only thing that wouldn't really work. There'd be no plugs into them, so they get no power or nothing like that. That's why I got to extend the headlight wiring. Everything else technically should be fine though. Which I showed in the last video about, you know, tuck in the harness. And as you guys saw, if you go back a couple seconds and look, I'll probably show it again later, you can't see that mess of wire and harness, you know, with the dash in. So that's kind of the idea. You know, you're relocating things because maybe you don't have anywhere to put your fuse box, maybe your turbo in your car. Let me show you real quick. You know, as most of y'all know, I think how it is the battery sits here. So I mean, 90% of us already relocate our batteries to the trunks. That's whatever. And then I can't even remember because I haven't seen it in so long, but the fuse box I'm pretty sure is there. If it's not there, it's here with the battery, but either way, it's in this area. And so obviously a lot of us, we do cut tubs, get bigger tubs, and then also if you go turbo and stuff like that, you know, sometimes it's nice to have a little extra room around here, you know, just to work with in general. So, you know, screw it, get extra room, relocate everything back there, out of sight, out of mind. Make sure all your wires are good, make sure your plugs are good, make sure let me show you real quick. I don't got the glove box in, so you should be able to see it fairly easily. Right there, there's the fuse box, exactly where I wanted it to be. So even when I put the glove box in, and it will still work like a glove box, that'll just get shoved back a little bit. If I need to work on things, I can just remove the glove box, boom, there's my fuses right there. It's very nice, very simple. So, and look, I mean, yeah, you can still see kind of the mess. All those wires right there are gonna get tucked back up. That's just radio wiring that the previous owners or some previous owner did. I'll figure all that later. That's all ECU wiring that's gonna get tucked over there. And yeah, it'll look fairly clean. That's the plan, at least. But back to what I was saying earlier, I have ADD really bad, so like I'll try to talk about one thing and then I'll zip into something else, which goes into something else, and I'll completely forget what I was originally trying to talk about. So I'm kind of doing a lot of things to make the car look good. I'm also doing things that aren't necessary because you're not going to see them. And then that's not even talking about the wiring harness, though it does look cleaner for others. But like, I got the car jacked up right now in the rear so I can get the differential and the drive shaft in. I just gotta find some hardware for the differential and the drive shaft. So that's stuff I'm kind of looking for. I do have a couple bags of hardware that I got with this car, so I'm kind of going through that. I just got the car jacked up though, so haven't gone under to see if any of them are going to fit. And if I can't find any, I'm sure there's some laying around, so it's no big deal. I'll show you guys the S13 subframe real quick, because I did show it early on in my channel before I put it in the car, but that's what it looks like. It's the newest piece of suspension this car has. I'm not looking forward to putting the new arms on, because putting the stock ones back on involved a lot of hammer work, a lot of hidden stuff to get it to fit. But yeah, so I've been here for like 3 hours, like 4 hours, so I'm gonna try to get or find the hardware to put the diff in, because I got the jack right here, which will make things a lot easier to just jack it up into place. That's if I can find the hardware. If not, I'll just scooch all my stuff out of the way and I'll put my bolts somewhere safe, and I will do it later, because I got quite a bit done. Not really, but you know, in my head I did. I got tomorrow off too, so I can do some stuff tomorrow. I'm just trying to get it in a place where I could sell it and it looks nice, as much as I hate to say that. Oh yeah, also Holden's car's in here. I completely forgot to mention that. I know I said it in the last video that there'd be another car here, and yeah, his car's here, which is cool. I hope he works on it now that it's inside instead of out there, because I think that was one of the reasons why he didn't want to work on it. Because this car needs a lot of love. It needs a lot of stuff done. But you know, Holden has that, you know, 500 horsepower Camaro that he slides like all the time and drifts all the time, and that's kind of, I think, the problem with having like 2 drift cars and being his age, basically being like not having a lot of money, is you have a really badass drift car. Your other car that you're working on, I don't think is going to get a lot of work done, but you know, I think he worked on this thing like maybe 2 months ago. So I know he did a 5-lug swap on the front, yeah. So he has to do it on the rear still. But yeah, you know, he's getting stuff done. I wish I could have my old dash back. This is the dash that was in my old 240. I've only ever had one other 240, and I've never shown it on this channel. And that was the dash it had. Yeah, he managed to get his in without fucking breaking anything. Well, that's just what I do, I guess. I force things in and I might break them. But yeah. Alright, and I found some of the missing pieces I need to put the differential in. I got all of the differential cover bolts. And then I got these 2. These are going to be close to the closest to the transmission. I forgot that I have a whole bunch of hardware in here, so this is just random. This is what came with the car. Some of it I think I might have thrown in here, but this just came with the car. So luckily, yes, I have all the hardware. The only thing I couldn't find was bolts, but that makes sense. This car never had a S13 subframe. When I got it, I put it in after the fact. And so one of the nice things about the S13 subframe is it takes a lot less to get the differential in. So it looks a lot cleaner. There's a lot more room. If I had I'll show you actually, because there's a car jacked up in the air right now, and so I can show you what it looks like. But first, let's go to the S14 differential cover. So besides those 2 really long bolts I showed you, the other thing you use to mount is these threads. And so it's going to be a nut with a washer on it. So I just have to find the nut and the washer, or get one somehow, because since it's S14 stuff, I'm gonna need S14 hardware, or I'm gonna go to Ace and probably get something close enough. But that's just gonna be one thing I have to find, because this is the end, and it mounts onto the subframe itself. So I'm gonna figure that out eventually, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, that's essentially everything I need to put the differential in, and then I just need hardware for the drive shaft. So I'm just going to show you very quickly the differences between the S14 rear subframe and the S13 rear subframe. First, I'll show you the S14 rear subframe in my car and how that mounts. So first things first, you have, let me get a little closer. You have a hole here, and then you got a hole there. Those are the first 2. Those are for the rear. Then you got a hole right here and a hole right here. Those threads where the diff cover is are gonna go into here, and then you're gonna put a nut in here with a built-in washer. It's the appropriate size, and that's how that goes. So yeah, nut, bolt, that's it. The toe arms are they're already in. I gotta change mine, because these ones kind of suck, and I have new ones. I got my brakes just kind of, my rear brakes are just hanging out because they're not in right now, because they don't need to be in, because I just haven't gotten to it. I haven't really touched the back of the car besides putting the subframe back together. So yeah, that's S14. It's a bit dark in here, so I'm just gonna use my flashlight. So this is an S13 rear subframe with the S13 diff. as you see, you have this huge plate in the back, and that's how you mount a lot of stuff. This is not really a plate. This is attached to the S13 subframe. So you see how big this S13 subframe is compared to the S14 subframe. So you got some mounts here. And so as far as I know, every single S13 at the shop, besides mine, has that subframe. So they got that weird kind of plate, that big plate on it. And maybe it will kind of look similar with my differentials in. Maybe. But yeah, we'll see. So that's just kind of something I had to figure out. I can't really reference a lot of these other cars because S14 subframe is a little different when it comes to the cover. Mounting stuff on the cover is different hardware, but everything closer to the transmission, like those two long bolts, they're exactly the same. So that's essentially it. I'm gonna put this somewhere safe so I don't lose it and have to pick in this bag. I'm gonna put this in its own individual bag and keep it somewhere safe. And I think I'm gonna either call it a night or come back later, because I have been here since like 12 o'clock-ish in the afternoon, and it's very late now. It's about almost 7:30. So I've been here for about 7 hours, maybe close to 8. And yes, I didn't get a crazy amount done. I got the dash in. A lot of this time was just spent looking for a freaking jack, because I could not find a jack for the life of me. And then lowering the car was a bit tricky, because I didn't want to take one jack stand off this side and then the other side, because the suspension has like no play in it, so it'd be like really crazy, and I don't want to risk it slipping or anything. So I figured it out. I actually put that brake rotor on top of that and just jacked it up, and that brake rotor gave me like the 2 inches I needed, because the jack stands were on the lowest setting. They weren't like really high, they were in the lowest setting. I just need the car jacked up a little bit to it was for the intake when I was getting the intake back on. But yeah, so I got the rear end up in the air, the jack is free, which will help me later, and now I have most of the hardware to get the differential in, and that all together. So I'd say successful night.